Just you do this a long time, and I've done it a long time, and you know the rhythms of DePaul. And we are a school that is in quarters, and we start school June, January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever it is. Most of these semester schools aren't starting for another week yet, and we always seem to hit a January lull. I've never talked to them about it. I never would talk to them about it. And hopefully we've just fought through the lull. And unfortunately, we dropped the ball game the other night that I feel like we should have gotten, and I feel like they should have gotten. And tonight was a sluggish type of a ball game, and Villanova makes it a sluggish type of a ball game. So I just thought our players' experience also takes place. As much as we coaches love to coach in the game and in practice, experience still takes place during the games. And Nova comes out here and plays a matchup zone that we haven't worked against for a while. They haven't been playing. I mean, so we had to grind our way through. And after a really sloppy first half in which we turned the ball over 13 times at halftime and we're just throwing the ball to them, we settled down and finally found some rhythm in the second half, made some consistent stops, got some consistent defensive glass, executed some semblance of offense, and I thought we grew as the game went along, and then put the game away. On the technical foul, as a coaching staff, you always have to take responsibility. So therefore, somebody on our staff, because the red uniforms, put the wrong number in. So all of a sudden, the game that's over, if they hit the free throws, get the ball, make a score, and all of a sudden it could be a 5, 6, 7, 8 point ball game, and you just so that was on us as a staff, even though certain coaches knew about it, but they didn't tell the coach that puts it in the book. So she wears number 1, Kiki Rimmer, and she wore 31 tonight, and that's on us. So that's a little bit about all that. But forget that. Again, Aneesah Morrow has to rebound the ball for us to be good, and she did. And Sonya had a good night offensively, and it's not just scoring offensively; it's being able to figure out how to score in rhythm when good teams and good coaches take your first options from you. And because we are such a quick shooting team by my design, and can be an impetuous shooting team, then sometimes we have trouble finding rhythm when we need to find rhythm. And that's a little bit about what happened tonight. And I thought in the second half we found our rhythm and scored in a rhythmic way. So enough of all that. Why don't you talk to our players here?
How did the team react to the loss to Marquette? Like, what was the mentality after that?
Obviously we was upset and kind of disappointed. But we knew exactly what we had to do. It was really the assist and sharing the ball that kind of messed us up. We won the rebound battle, so it's really just sharing the ball. And we didn't have a great shooting night either. But after the game, we was just ready to bounce back, learn from it, and that's kind of what it is with every loss. We try not to get too down on ourselves. We don't put nobody down. We don't blame nobody. We don't point fingers. We just take accountability, get better, and learn from it.
And did you put a larger emphasis on tonight's game after a loss like that?
Definitely, yeah. Because we knew first of all, we don't want to lose 2 in a row, but Villanova is a very good team. They didn't have one of their key players, so we knew we just had to capitalize. We can't get complacent and get comfortable. We knew we just had to come out and really get this win tonight.
Sonya, this question's for you. How much have you matured as a player through your time at DePaul?
Personally, I feel like a lot. I would say physically, but it's mostly mental too. Just, getting the experience, getting the wisdom, and just being smarter as a player, trying to work on my leadership, be a better leader overall. So I think I've grown a lot, yeah.
Aneesah, just a general question. How much pressure or how much concern did you have coming into DePaul about playing in front in your hometown?
I wouldn't say that it was pressure. I wanted to stay here at DePaul, so it's actually like a blessing for me to stay here and be able to play in front of like people in my city and my family.
And then having big games early on, does that put any more pressure on you to not have an off night ever?
Kinda, yeah, because I try to stay as consistent as I possibly can. So I just have to stay focused and just try to be as consistent as I can and rebound and focus on my finishes.
I know I'm not supposed to talk, but they say from the mouth of babes, from the mouth of babes. Aneesah just said something that is just so simple about, I wanted to stay and play in front of my family and my friends and my hometown. I mean, how hard is that? And why is it so hard to get our people from Chicago to understand? that this is one of the greatest cities on the planet. And you're living in one of the greatest. Why does every student that goes to a Big Ten school come spend their Christmas break in Lincoln Park? Why do they come spend their summer vacations in Lincoln Park when you can go to DePaul? It's just, I mean, of course you want to share with your family. No, go 5 hours away where your family can't get there. I mean, what?
That's personal.
Aneesah, obviously you had a tough assignment guarding Maddie Seegers tonight. What was the mentality for you going into that assignment, and how did you handle her tonight?
I knew that she's a great player, and we had to capitalize on defensively, just trying to stop her because she scored a lot of their points. So I was just trying to capitalize on defending and trying to stop as many baskets as I possibly could.
No, I should have talked before, but stay home and sweet home Chicago. That's the loudest. Your mom and dad are out there waiting for you.
I'm about to go to them.
I know. And they don't have to drive 3 hours home from anywhere. So simple. Don't have to miss any work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, team.
Coach, what was your strategy for guarding Maddie Seegers tonight coming into, and
Well,
how did you make the halftime adjustment?
You know, Maddie is just such a great player. She's legitimately one of the best 2 or 3 players in our league. Yeah, Paige Beckers was the National Player of the Year last year. She's not playing right now, but Paige and Maddie are 2 of the top players in our league, and they're just very, very difficult matchups for everybody. And it's not like we come into this and say, let Maddie get hers, and we're going to stop everybody else. That's not what we're really trying to do. We're trying to make Maddie. The goal is to make Maddie come out of the game and know that she had to work exceptionally hard. Great players are going to get theirs, but when they get theirs, come out of the game saying, man, they really, really pushed me and exhausted me to get mine. I'm not sure that we did that exactly, but, you know, she's just a hard matchup because she's so smart, she's clever, and she's got skills both as a guard and around the basket. So, you know, she's just a really, really tough matchup, and everybody had her, not just Niecy. Niecy had her, Deja Church had her a bunch of the night, so Lexi held her a little bit. We get switched off her. She's just a great, intelligent basketball player.
Hey, Coach. So I'll ask you a similar question that I asked Sonya. Are you able to talk about her maturity as a player through her time at DePaul?
Yeah, Sonya is, when Sonya walks in the room, she's going to lead the room. You know, it's one of those things, by the force of her personality growing up, it's impossible for her not to lead. So what leadership is going to come out of it? Is it going to be constructive leadership, or is it going to be negative leadership? Because there's no in between. And that's Sonya. And I just think she's starting to understand. She's taking coach. It's not like she's always been coachable, but still, you know, I think she's able to take criticism better. I think that's huge. And I just think that's probably one of the most important places. She's forgiving herself a little bit more quickly. I mean, she's still a little bit, you know, when you get mad at yourself in the game of in a game that's as fast as the game of basketball, you blow the next play. When you just say anything negative to yourself, just slam the floor, any of that, you've screwed up the next play already without even realizing. And I think she's coming along in that area. I think she's starting to learn, you know, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a great blessing to be able to get your own. When I love watching NBA basketball, every guy in that league can get their own. It's a blessing to be able to get your own. But then to have the understanding to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Well, know when to go get your own. And then, you know, I've drawn 2 people to me. I've got 3 people on me. I can get my own right now, but maybe that's not the best thing to do. I think those are some other places that are coming along with her. And it's not even, this team isn't even close to being where we need to be yet. I mean, we just, you know, we came through a stretch here. We didn't have a game for 16 or 17 days or whatever it was, 19 days or something. And then we had 4 games in 8 days. We wanted to go 4-0. We have a chance to go 3-1. And that's, you know, I just think this team's in a place of development of hopefully just starting to figure things out together and turn a corner here where we can start just getting better with every game and start building to a postseason crescendo.
And then can you talk about Dee's adaptability and the various roles that she's had at DePaul?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if her parents are still right there. I mean, it's not for me to bring her parents into a press conference, but I mean, you know, when you raise a kid to be able to take the She started last year. She's come back for her 5th year. She didn't have to come back. And then, I didn't tell, oh, by the way, D, you might not start if you come back. It's not like I told her that. She comes back, you let the chips fall where they may. And they fell where they may. And we thought it was in the best interest of the team for her to come off the bench. And she had to have the maturity. It's one of the greatest things. People talk about leadership and write books about leadership. And Coach Lente's over there. He's won the most state championships of anybody in the state of Illinois in football. I mean, and yet these leaders come in different shapes and sizes. And Dee's leadership is, okay, I'm not going to start. I'm going to make the most out of this. I'm not going to be a pain. I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to turn this into a positive. And she has. And it's just, it's a thrill to watch a human being, accept that and then still, have the ego and swag of herself to be good when she comes in. She was a game changer tonight. I mean, she hit some big shots for us in that second half to get us over the hump. So, I can't say enough about her. Her and Church both coming back as 5th years. I really appreciate the fact that they've come back as 5th years, and then what they're both doing for us as 5th years, and their maturity. I mean, they didn't have to come do this, and lesser people probably wouldn't have.
And then the final question is about Lexi. What has been her biggest improvement as a player?
Like Sonya, I mean, just patience and understanding of and not just putting so much pressure on yourself to have a great night. I mean, you have great nights in different ways. It's just the great night isn't just defined by 8 for 11, 10 for 12, all right, with 5 threes and 27 points. I mean, the understanding that, tonight on the board, I write a lot of the same things often, but 2 things that I wrote that we really tried to emphasize tonight were the word smart. We try to outcompete people, outcombat people, out physically tough, out mentally tough, but you got to outsmart people. It doesn't do any good to be competitive with a lack of intelligence, doing unintelligent things. All right. So you got to outsmart people while you're being out competitive and out combative. Okay. And then we always say shoot it or share it. No, tonight we said shoot it or happily share it, because you can share it because the coach says shoot it or share it. Or, and so you share it because he makes you share it, or you share it because, hey, stupid old song, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. She ain't heavy, she's my sister. That's my sister. All right. I share it because I want to share it. I want to break bread and give it to my family. All right. It's that versus dad coming, stupid coach is going to make me have to pass it now. All right. There's a difference. So shoot it or share it. No, shoot it or happily share it. All right. Because it's the best thing to do for our team. It's the best thing to do for your sisterhood here. And it's okay. We all know, we've taught them enough. You created the shot. The reason you got 2 people on you is because you're good. That means the teammate's open. Happily share it. And when we get everybody doing that, and it's starting to come, this group isn't a selfish group. They were leading the nation in assists until these last 2 games, and now we're probably down to number 2 or 3 or 4 or something. But at the same time, we had 10 assists tonight, 13 up in Milwaukee, or 12 in Milwaukee. So, but at the same time, you still got to win the games. And I just think it's coming where they're understanding this concept of, sharing and shooting and sharing, and great players. Yeah, they love to have big nights, but they also could care less. I mean, I coached Diana Taurasi. She loves to get 36, but she loves to get 0 or 2 and have 14 assists. I mean, that's just a mentality of understanding the game. And I think it's coming for Lexi. I think it's coming for Sonya. I think it's coming for everybody. But we just still got to get that. That's why we're early January right now. I guess we're turning into the second half of January, but we got to get it going. And those are some of the areas we got to get it going.
Coach, you described early play as a bit sluggish. Don't you think that the team needs some games like that to prove that you could overcome that?
Sure. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, having everything that gets thrown at you in the beast that is the Big East is good for you. I mean, there's no question about it. And when I say it was sluggish, it's not like we weren't ready to play or weren't fired up to play or didn't have good juice and energy to play. It's just throwing the ball to the team with the white shirts on instead of the red shirts. It was just hard to watch. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like to be a fan up there watching. We work hard, we make a stop, we get the ball, throw it to them. We work hard, make a stop, get the ball, throw it to them. We work hard, make a stop, get the ball, and throw it to them. I mean, it was just hard to that's the sluggishness I'm talking about, is the way that first half executed offensively. I mean, last two teams at halftime, Marquette had 31 points, these guys had 33. I mean, if we can keep everybody we play against for the rest of the year down to 30, 31, 32 points at halftime, 60 points on the game, I'm going to take it. So, it was an offensive execution in both games that I think really had us behind the 8 ball at halftime. And then, I mean, we came out of it tonight. We came out of it at Marquette, but then once we took the 7-point lead, we weren't real wise down the stretch the other night.
Coach, for a team that produces so many threes per game, was there anything purposeful behind the lack of 3-point production tonight?
No, we know that we want to get threes and make threes when we're open, but the defense determines what you're going to get, and sometimes you're going to get wide open looks at the 3-point line. They did a good job of playing an extended zone, matching us up, and confusing us to a degree. Bob, it's early. It's early on a Friday night. You in a hurry? You trying to get home? I mean, what's going on? Come on, Sacco, it's 7:30. So no, I don't. We know that we have offensive goals. Get 70 good shots. Get a third of those as good threes. Make 20 good. Okay, but the defense is going to determine that. And sometimes defense is going to take your threes, and you got to get more shots at the rim. We still got to learn how to exploit our force in the middle here. That's still a much work in progress. I thought we got some work on that tonight. But Aneesah's been rebounding. Aneesah's been finishing. She's been scoring and rebounding. She's been scoring off her rebounding. We haven't really been able to get to a point of making her a go-to down low player yet. That's part of the work in progress. I thought we got a little bit of that done in the second half, where we sat her down low and just said, you work this triangle between the two blocks and the edge of the circle, maybe up to the eye of the Big East line. The eye and the big of the Big East, and you work that triangle. You stay down low, and we'll figure out how to play around you and get her some down low touches. That's just now starting to happen. We haven't really been able to do that all year, and I think it's important that she's just too strong down there to not be able to be a go-to down there player. But she's still a freshman. You got to remember. I mean, it's hard because she's doing what she's doing as a freshman. It's easy to forget that she is a freshman. And when you are a freshman, your head is still spinning in a lot of different directions. So, I mean, she's doing a great job for us. And again, I'm teasing her about how simple is it to understand that you're going to be away from home. You're going to live in Lincoln Park. You're going to live in a great place in the city of Chicago. And you can be home for dinner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner in 35, 40 minutes. Your folks can see you play. You get to play in front of the greatest sports town in America, in Chicago. How hard is that? All right. And I know you guys are not recruitable players, but it's just amazing to me how many people take it out of shy to wish they were back in Chicago. It's the greatest place in America to play basketball. Anything else, Bob?
Yeah, for just one more. For, like you said, with Aneesah and the importance of trying to establish the paint, how important was it tonight? Even though you lost the category for offensive rebounds, you guys were pretty aggressive in that space.
No, I just think I was just happy we were able to get some low post touches and low post basketball played. That hasn't really happened this year yet. I mean, we've had some paint time. We just have not been able to sit her down there and just go to her. And there's a lot of offensive systems been put into place here to be able to have answers for all these coaches in this league. And yet we have not been able to really get good at anything just yet. And so, I mean, I just think it was really good to be able to get her the ball down low and have the team have some emphasis of getting her the ball down low, because we didn't feel like anybody could guard her down there. And it wasn't a perfect execution down on the block, but it's a beginning.